In 1963, at the age of 33, Davis engineered the single greatest turnaround in NFL history when he coached the Raiders, a team that had been 1-13 the previous year, to a 10-4 record. And during his remarkable career, Davis has served as a scout, coach, owner, and commissioner. He's a natural leader who pursued and achieved his dream, a dream that, oddly enough, was inspired by two baseball teams.
I had the inspiration of two great organizations when I was growing up, the New York Yankees at that time and the Brooklyn Dodgers. We had come from Massachusetts when I was very young to Brooklyn, where I was brought up, and the Yankees to me personified the size of the players, power, the home run, and intimidation and fear. They were very important characteristics to me of what I thought a great organization and a great team should have. The Dodgers were totally different in my mind. They represented speed and the ability to take chances and pioneer in professional sports. And I always thought that someone intelligent could take all the qualities, the great qualities of both, and put them together and use them. I had certain philosophies of my own, and that was, number one, what I call the vertical game. We were going to stretch the field vertically. When we came out of the huddle, we weren't looking for first downs. We didn't want to move the chains. We wanted touchdowns. We wanted the big play, the quick strike. And it's number one to say you want to do that. It's number two to say that you have the players to do it, but it's number three to do it. To do it on first down of any football game for that defense that you're playing against. For those cornerbacks who play out there on the corners, to know that the Raiders are coming at you. They're coming at you on top, and they've got the speed to do it, and they will do it. That was Raider football. Well, the defensive theory evolved early on in the 60s to, number one, pressure. Put pressure on the pocket. Put pressure on the quarterback, diversification of defense, and the utilization of your corners in a bump and run principle. And the idea is to disrupt the offense, disrupt the flow of the offense, disrupt the continuity.
Al's philosophy and the Raiders' philosophy on defense is never to catch, never to read, it's to attack. That's the way we play football. We never let anybody take it. We take it to them. We had terrible stats. We had more penalties, but we won.
Al is not only an owner, but he's an owner that knows football, and I think the players respect that in him.
He was always there for the contact practices. Anything that we had our pads on, Al Davis was there, and you never knew where he was. You would see him by the goalpost 1 second, and then the next second you look back to see if you saw a great play you made, and he wasn't there. He was right next to you. And when Al Davis spoke, people listened. But see, people don't understand that he knows the game of football, and he has, at one time in his career, coached the offensive line, so he knows all these things. Every aspect of the game of football, as far as technique is concerned, the man studied it, and he knows it.
He's always there when the team comes out and to cheer him and give him a clap or two, and then he's always also there to watch the other team warm up and maybe give them a word or two of encouragement to try to psych them in some way. I mean, this is something that he's been doing for years.
Well, he knows that everybody wants to be on the Raiders, so what he does is he goes over to the other team and he gets their stars. And he just says, hey, how you doing, And he talks to them so nice, and he might even ask them what they're getting paid, just to get them thinking, hey, I'll do better for them. He would always be looking to give us the edge. And then his look and the way he would shake when he looked at you, win, baby. He'd come after you with them eyes and that face. Man, that used to turn me on, I loved it.
The workings of an athlete is a lot different from the workings of a civilian. They think different. They react differently. And Al Davis, fortunately, knows the workings of those athletes, and that's why the players that play for him love him.
I remember when his wife was sick, and he would kill me for saying this. But there are two things that are very important to him, and that's his football team and his wife and his family. That was the first time in 16 years I've ever seen him away from the team. His wife lay in the hospital in a coma. He went there. He found the best doctors. He did not move from the bedside until she regained consciousness.
I can remember games on in her room while she was in a coma. The game was on, and they would be talking about her. And I would try to talk to her and tell her, baby, they're talking about you now. You got to get up. And every night would spend hours with her, talking to her, with the hope that maybe I could do something, with the idea that you'll leave no stone unturned.
And the first neurologist, who was an excellent neurologist, had said to Al that it does look rather hopeless, rather grim.
I could not leave her lying there and accept that. I just couldn't believe it, as little I knew about medicine. So I was determined to try and dominate that situation, at least from the management of it, procuring all the information I could from all over the world. And of course, I have more means than other people, so I can do these things.
He was determined that his wife was going to get through this terrible episode in her life. He had totally willed it. And I think his will carried over into her in some way.
Thank God, after about 14 days, she awakened. She needed therapy work, she needed memory work, but thank God today she's perfect.
I don't think he's ever thought it was a miracle. I just think that he feels that that you take a situation and you, as he puts it, dominate it. You take it over and you make it happen. You will it to happen.
I had described Al Davis in a way that would please him 50 years from now if he were looking down and wanted to be remembered in a way that would be meaningful to him. It would be that he dominated his life in all the phases of his life. That he dominated.
For the last 26 years, the Raiders have been the most dominant team in pro sports. They've made the playoffs in 15 different years, captured 13 division titles, and 3 times they've been crowned the world champions. The Raiders' place in the record book is already assured, but there's also sort of a storybook quality about their winning tradition. The Raiders have been involved in some of the most thrilling and unforgettable moments in NFL history.
In 1989, football's most dynamic organization made history in the hiring of new head coach Art Shell.
It'll be a 26-yard try. Right hash, spot, kick, on the way. Good! Raiders win in overtime!
This great Raider Hall of Famer has eagerly taken on the challenge of restoring the Raider glory that he was so much a part of.
He talks a lot about the Raider tradition, about the Raider past, and he brought in a lot of examples of what he was talking about, some stories he told. And, you know, with that in mind and with the idea that, you know, if you really believe that you're going to win, you will win, he just basically is gotten the guys to start to believe that.
The will to win. It has been the motivating factor behind some of the most improbable, implausible, impossible finishes in NFL history. Moments like any one of George Blanda's miracle kicks of 1970.
Here it is. Snap. Spotted. It's kicked. That's got a chance. That is good. It's good. Holy Toledo. Oakland trails 20-14. 10 seconds left. Robisky and Banaszak are the back. Slot right. Branch inside. Bradshaw. Stabler back.
Raiders' victory in Super Bowl XI was, like that championship season, a study in power and precision, flawlessly executed by the likes of Hall of Famers Fred Biletnikoff and Willie Brown. Even more dominating was Super Bowl XVIII, where the power and artistry of Marcus Allen propelled the Raiders to their first NFL title since moving to Los Angeles.
And he gets away for a moment, comes back up to the 30, 25, 40, goes across 2 minutes to 50, down to the 40, picking up a blocker, to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown Raiders!
Not only, in my opinion, are you the greatest Raider team of all time, I think you're ranked with the great teams of all time that have ever played any professional sport.
The Raiders. Pride and poise. Decades of destiny. Competitors for years. Champions forever. Raiders for life.
The Raiders is always, to me, it's like a family. I love every guy I ever played with. And playing for Mr. Davis is heaven.
I'm 40 years old, and I would come back in a second if he asked me to come back and help. In a second. And I think most of the other guys would, too.
And when I go back to the Raider camp, the juices start flowing. The blood turned warm, and the pride and the poise and the silver and black, it's there.
I don't know what the Packers had. I don't know what any other team had, but the Raiders got it, and I think we'll always have it. And it goes right back to when Art got the job. I mean, Art told me everybody called him. Everybody, guys who never played would call him to say congratulations. Let's get it back, and that's a family, and that's what we got with the Raiders.
The fire that burned brightest in me and the fire that burns brightest in this organization is the will to win. I think the will to win is more important than any single event. And I strongly believe that in the decade ahead, the 90s, the greatness of the Raiders will continue, and that decade will belong to us.
Raider slogans like pride and poise, commitment to excellence, and just win, baby, are more than just words. For a quarter of a century, they've inspired greatness on the field and created a lasting legend. And by believing in those slogans, and more importantly, putting them into action, the Raiders deserve to be called the team of all decades.
Hence.